Another day, everybody. No excuses. It's day 8, and I just came back from soccer. It was a week ago when we started this journey of posting every single day. And today, I just want to reflect on something that many people want to hear about. Partly it's funding, and partly it's what is the definition of a startup, right? And I bring this conversation about because I read an opinion piece yesterday by a founder from Kenya who says it seems Africa, in terms of how they want to fund businesses, they have forgotten what the definition of a startup is. A startup is an experiment. I just want everyone to be clear. He says a startup is an experiment that might turn into a business. It's not a fully fledged business that has predictable revenue. It's not a fully fledged business that has predictable customers. It's not a fully fledged business that has all the certainty in place. By definition, a startup is an experiment, and as soon as our communities get to understand this element, it is in its very nature then risky. It is in its very nature then uncertain. Its customer segmentation is not yet known. Its business model is still in progress. It is not defined. I'm stressing this because it would seem that some people, when you say you've started a startup, they think you're making money. They think you're already, able to give them proper revenues. This is not the case, beloved. This is not the case. A startup, by definition, is an experiment that will one day turn into a business. It might take time for that experiment to turn into a business, and that's where the risk factor comes in. Understanding this is very important, even as a startup founder, so that you don't go into the trap that Africa kind of wants you to go into, where because you are not yet making the revenue, you then try to behave like an SME, which is nothing wrong with behaving like an SME. But if it was not your goal to start out as an SME, be a startup. So an SME would then take one client there, one contract there, lock themselves up within a small geography, and essentially do small work. You know what I mean? So sometimes we bottle ourselves here in Africa, thinking that a startup is a fully fledged business that is supposed to only serve like a few customers around us. Yes, if we design enough small businesses that we want to generate revenue in the first instance, in the beginning, as they begin, it's fine. We can do that. But if we're deliberate about funding startups are, by their very nature, they are high risk, and the market share they are looking towards is continental, if not global. So I just want that to be clear in everyone's mind, that when we say we're building a startup, we are not building a small business that is just meant to serve one locality or one company through contract, or 2 or 3 companies through contract. We are trying to service the entire continent. And that's what I want maybe to share. On the backdrop of that, I want to share that I've been to several conferences, not conferences, but like you could call them founder meetings and networking sessions, where one of the talks that was shared, one of the last talks that was shared, was around funding, and it was said that the African markets, South Africa and the rest of Africa, don't have patient capital. Now, that's not an excuse for us as founders to say, oh, there's no money, therefore we shouldn't start startups. But it's to say the requirements to get capital are much higher. And so it becomes important then to know when to bring in capital. So